Welcome back to The Explainer. So I was just digging through the absolute latest AI developments from May 21st, 2026, and wow, Google's launch of Gemini 3.5 Flash completely caught me off guard. You know the usual drill, right? A Flash or a light model usually means you get amazing speed, but you kind of have to sacrifice that top-tier, heavy-hitting intelligence. It's just the standard trade-off. But 3.5 Flash, it literally breaks the rules of its own weight class. We're looking at a lightweight AI model that is legitimately outperforming the heavyweights, and we're going to figure out exactly how this is happening.
Here is what we're covering today. 1. The rule breaker. 2. The benchmark breakdown. 3. The pricing paradox. 4. Inside anti-gravity 2.0. 5. Meet Gemini Spark. And 6. The autonomous future.
Let's jump right into part 1, the rule breaker, an anomaly in AI.
Right now, we are right in the middle of this massive industry shift. We're moving away from your basic chatbots and diving headfirst into the era of autonomous agents. And it brings up a really provocative question. Can a lightweight AI model actually beat a flagship heavyweight? Because honestly, in the tech world, lightweight tiers just aren't supposed to dethrone the flagships. It's kind of like a featherweight boxer stepping into the ring and knocking out the heavyweight champ. It completely defies the established physics of how we build AI.
Yet, that is exactly what Google's new 3.5 Flash model is doing. It is delivering actual frontier-level intelligence while running 4 times faster than comparable models in its class. No joke, 4 times faster. And the wild part? It's doing this while flawlessly juggling massive 1 million token contexts. To put that into perspective, that's about 786,000 words in a single prompt. It's basically like asking it to process the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy at blinding speed.
Now, to really ground the rest of this explainer, we need to be crystal clear on what we mean by an agentic workflow, because we are way past just asking an AI to write a polite email. We are talking about an AI system that acts autonomously. It can independently orchestrate multiple tools, manage multi-step workflows, and even spin up its own subagents to complete really complex, long-horizon tasks over hours or even days. And that is exactly what 3.5 Flash was custom built for.
Moving on to part 2, the benchmark breakdown, FlashSpeeds Pro.
Let's look at the actual hard data from DeepMind to see how this plays out. When you map out intelligence against output speed, Gemini 3.5 Flash is honestly sitting in a league of its own, right up there in the top right quadrant. It's not just exceptionally smart, more importantly, it is ridiculously fast at executing complex logic.
And when you compare the numbers directly against a flagship 3.1 Pro model, they are wild. Just look at the Finance Agent V2 benchmark. Flash has a massive 14.9-point lead over Pro. Then you look at Agent Tech Terminal Coding, Terminal Bench 2.1, and it wins decisively again with 76.2%. Same story for multi-tool coordination on MCP Atlas, where it easily pulls ahead.
But hey, let's keep it real here and give an honest critique, because there is definitely a trade-off. Think of it this way. 3.5 Flash is your absolute go-to for getting real, iterative work done. Coding, workflows, using complex tools, it absolutely crushes those. But if you need deep, raw, academic reasoning, like trying to pass the infamous Humanities Last Exam benchmark or solving highly abstract logic puzzles on Arc AGI 2, then the older Gemini 3.1 Pro is still your heavyweight champion. Basically, Flash traded some of that raw encyclopedic knowledge for sheer, unparalleled execution speed. All right, part 3, the pricing paradox, the catch.
We really need to address the elephant in the room here, the actual economic reality of deploying this in the real world. If you're using the Gemini API, 3.5 Flash is going to cost you $1.50 per million input tokens and $9 per million output tokens.
Now, sure, at $1.50 and $9, it is roughly 40% cheaper than the flagship 3.1 Pro. That sounds great, right? But here's the kicker. It is 3 times the cost of the older Gemini 3 Flash preview model. And because 3.5 Flash is built specifically for these complex multi-step agentic workflows, it absolutely chews through output tokens. In fact, artificial analysis found it generated roughly 73 million output tokens on their benchmark suite alone. So if you're a developer, you really have to budget for how chatty or verbose this model is. Yes, it's cheaper per token than Pro, but those tokens add up incredibly fast when your agents are constantly running in loops.
Which leads us nicely into part 4, Inside Anti-Gravity 2.0, the ecosystem.
You see, we can't really talk about agentic models without talking about the tools that actually make them run. Google didn't just drop a new model and call it a day. They completely overhauled their entire developer ecosystem. Anti-Gravity 2.0 isn't just some simple IDE extension anymore. It is a massive, standalone multi-agent desktop application. We're talking a blazing fast command line interface built in Go, an entirely new SDK so you can host custom agents on your own hardware, and they've totally revamped how context works by grouping things into projects rather than isolated workspaces.
But the absolute secret sauce here is the logic behind dynamic subagents. Instead of trying to make one single AI juggle everything at once, the main agent takes your complex task and then it spawns specialized subagents. These subagents run entirely in the background, asynchronously, in parallel. When they're done, they report back using simple data connections, like JSON hooks. It is brilliant because it keeps the main system totally free of clutter while the heavy lifting happens behind the scenes.
Part 5. Meet Gemini Spark, the 24/7 agent. So, stepping away from the developer jargon for a second, let's look at the consumer reality, because the scare here is huge. Google's CEO Sundar Pichai actually pointed out that if top companies shifted 80% of their workloads from other frontier models over to 3.5 Flash, they'd save over $1 billion annually. $1 billion. And since Gemini is already serving over 900 million active users globally, the economic ripple effect of that kind of efficiency is just staggering.
And all of that efficiency? That's what powers Gemini Spark. This is your new personal digital assistant, but please do not think of it as just another chatbot. Spark runs 24/7 in the background on Google Cloud virtual machines. It operates entirely seamlessly, running your workflows, doing research, even if your laptop is literally slammed shut. By this summer, it'll be natively integrated directly into Chrome as your browser agent, and later this year, it's getting its own dedicated UI space called Halo, built right into Android 17, so you can easily keep tabs on exactly what it's doing on your behalf.
Finally, Part 6, the autonomous future, a paradigm shift.
This really gets to the heart of the shift from those simple reactive chatbots to long-horizon autonomous action. And listen, this is not just theoretical whiteboard stuff. It is happening today. For example, the financial platform Ramp is already using Flash's huge 1 million token context window to chew through messy batches of invoices using text recognition. Macquarie Bank, they are piloting it to handle incredibly complex customer onboarding across 100+ page financial documents. And over in software development, 2 internal Google agents actually use 3.5 Flash to build a fully playable video game completely from scratch in just 6 hours. No way, right? 6 hours.
That level of independence is honestly a real game changer. Kore Kavucu-Oglu, the CTO of Google DeepMind, really hit the nail on the head when he said it can independently execute complex coding pipelines or manage iterative research projects entirely by itself. We are finally looking at a genuine digital coworker, not just another software tool.
Which leaves us with a really provocative question to end our explainer today. Take a look at the work you do every single day. How are your daily workflows going to fundamentally change now that you have an AI that doesn't just sit there waiting to answer a question, but can actually run complex multi-step tasks in the background for days at a time while you focus on the big picture? The agentic era is officially here, and the possibilities are literally endless. Keep learning, keep experimenting, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.